I still got a friend in the hospital. 35 days now.
Oh, the one with COVID?
Yep.
Wow.
Just let me make a quick thing. Welcome everybody, Saturday Night Live Zoom, June 6, 2020. Sorry, Steve, you said your friend's still in the hospital?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
28, I think he went in.
that's the last place I'd want to be.
They got him so fucked up, it's not even funny. They had him on the ventilator,
Oh,
dialysis. They just did a tracheotomy.
A tracheotomy?
So they can get him off
Oh
the
my God. No, God.
a tracheotomy. What's that again? Oh,
It's when
right.
they put in like the thing in your throat to make you breathe.
Breathing, yeah. Yeah, when they do the ventilator, sometimes they have to do that or whatever, but I don't know. Hi, Hans. It's a crazy world. I was watching early this morning that Dan Hicks or Dix, I can't remember. He's a reporter, a journalist. He's been doing it for years, alternative, and he basically got mobbed. He went for the was it last week? He went for another report, and people were surrounding him saying he's a racist. This, that. He said, what are you talking about? Do you know me? They don't even know him, and they're calling him a racist. Anyway, a few people were gathered, then a policeman had to take him out and help him get out of there. Today it happened again, but on a much grander scale. You had like, people, mob rules mentality. They were all attacking the guy.
George Soros.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like these are a lot of young people. There's nothing working.
So easy to turn them. There's nothing for these kids. There's no economy. There's nothing for them. It's so easy to turn them against. Plus, you're in a whole generational change too. So there's a lot more going on than just what's on the surface. This whole old order is getting swept aside.
It's incredible what's
And
going on.
it never goes easy. If you go back in history, it never goes smooth. It's always violent, always ends in violent times. Every revolution, civil, World War II, all about 80 years apart, pretty close. And the cycle repeat all through man's history, about the human lifetime, 80 years. Each 20-year cycle. There was a book written about it, and the guys did a fantastic job. It was done back in the 90s, 96 or 97, fourth term.
There's it was a woman holding a sign here in Toronto saying that something about destroying property is not violence. She said, well, it's, if you just break my arm, that's one thing, but if you destroy my property, that's not violence. Where do they come up with this stuff? It's okay to destroy people's whole life's, work. It's okay. Oh, okay. Sure. These guys, these are the kind of people that are looking for handouts, right?
Yep.
So we're in for a big one with this next generations coming in. If if we don't really get through to them at the soul level, there's no hope.
Here, the leaders of the parties here are right at the end of that cycle, that 80-year cycle, because they're all in their 70s, 70s and 80s. So whether they like it or not, the next generation's coming in. And they are not going and they are not giving it up easy. Absolutely not. They want to hold on to it to the bitter end. And they'll take the whole fucking country down just to maintain their status. And the world.
Well, according to the astrological energies,
Yeah, you mentioned that. I'd like to expand on that a little bit.
well, I'm not adept at astrology like my aunt. She's right into it. She has a group, and you know what she's saying is this month is going to be rough. And as we can, and that she's been saying it. She's told me for a while. She goes, June is going to be, and then it'll ease off a little bit, but not until the end of January coming, which is next year, right? Beginning of next year, and then the cycle will continue, ease off, but we won't have the paradigm shift or whatever you want to call it. 2003 is when everything's going to shift energetically for you know, she says all the elites and so on and so forth, they're all going to fall.
Next election.
That's what the energy's saying. This
Next election. Just what the book is saying. The next election.
Yeah.
Then they're gone. Then they're absolutely gone.
You know, in the same token, we can't let go of our intent and emotion of what we want to see on this planet, because
No, we can't wait for it.
right, yeah, if we let it go, man, they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing, right? So, you know, right now there's all kinds of stuff's coming to the surface. Like what, Hillary's under investigation? Is she in the court or something?
She lost.
You lost?
She has to testify. You didn't see that on the news, though, did you?
So yeah,
That was buried way under.
all the scum's coming to the surface.
She lost. She has to testify.
It's they can't hide anymore. This is good news, right? You know, those 30,000 whatever emails she deleted.
Oh, Christ, the freaking death toll to those two people are incredible.
Oh,
The deaths associated to the Clintons,
I know.
unbelievable. I don't know where it was at, 35, 40, something like that.
Every time somebody's researching them, they end up dead. Very interesting. But we got bigger and better things to worry about. It's just like what's going on now is just insanity. You know, they've extended the lockdown here till the end of the month. Like they have stages of release, but they're still keeping it in a state of an emergency. And let's see how this.
We've had protests all over the state today.
Yeah, well, even here it's Saturday, every Saturday, but now it's. I think they're doing it other days as well.
They're all boarding up the stores. Nobody wanted to open up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
And they vilified the police so bad. I mean, deservedly to a certain extent, but.
Well,
I don't know.
What ended up happening with Dan Hicks? I think it was yesterday. The police had to escort him out, and then somebody threw something at his head, you know, and he's bang, and cops trying to find who it was, and then they're dragging him out, you know, and then there's more commotion after he got hit, and he drops one of his cameras. He's there, hey, my camera, where's my camera? It's $800 camera. The police there, no, let's keep going. And all of a sudden the cop goes, you're under arrest, shut that thing off. For what? And then the camera goes off. So I don't know what.
Look who I keep saying it. Look who they've hired. They've hired the freaking SS. They hired the Nazis down here. We absolutely have especially in the cities. These police forces are so militarized.
Well, there was a bunch of, I don't remember where it was, but a bunch of unidentified military dressed people, and they wouldn't say where they were from or anything. fully armed, fully military clothing somewhere in the U.S. So who's hiring these guys?
Well,
Like, these people that
gun sales have skyrocketed down here. I think they estimated 365 million.
sales,
No, total at the moment, but that is so far off, it's not even funny. It's probably double that. It's probably closer to a billion.
yeah, well, you know, this is it's the whole thing about weapons. You can't have only one side having weapons. That's a problem, and that's why so many governments
Why
want.
we've never been invaded.
Yeah. So many people want to get rid of guns. So many governments want to get rid of guns because they can easily take control when nobody's got nothing to defend themselves with. But
Every genocide was preceded by gun confiscation.
yeah,
Right? Mao, freaking Stalin,
everyone
everyone.
get rid of the weapons first. They're trying. Well, Trudeau did it here, but under not.
How many people are turning their guns in?
Well, it's a 2-year thing. Then they're going to buy them back, is what he says. Instead of spending the money on getting rid of
Ain't
them.
gonna happen. It didn't happen here. They tried it here, they tried New York, not confiscation, but registration.
Yeah.
Believe me, where I live, this whole freaking northeast of the United States is so left wing. You thought that everybody would have just abided by the laws, and they all said, screw you, we're not doing it. Nobody did it. In the bluest of blue states, nobody complied.
So there's no registry program in the U.S. for guns?
Yeah, there is.
There is?
No, there was not. The only registry was when you bought it. You had to go through the federal registration when you bought the weapon. But they were trying to include everything, not just it was everything.
I'd rather see a planet with absolutely no weapons, but
Yeah, so with everybody.
we're not at that stage. So if they have guns, everybody should have guns. It's that simple. It's the only
Of
purpose.
the same caliber.
What caliber?
Of the same caliber.
Yeah. If we can't have only certain people having guns. It's not right. Not right. The only reason guns were designed was to kill. So there's no reason for them in a
People
peaceful.
have been doing it forever. Man's been killing each other forever. How are you going to stop that? Until everybody becomes enlightened, And like Hans said, what are you changing to? What are they going to change to? What system?
Like, what if there is like a criminal who is like, let's say there are no weapons, and there is a criminal who is, let's say, with his car, he's driving over people, and they want to stop him. Maybe in that case, it's good for the police, or to have a gun to shoot them. I don't know, or to shoot the car or something.
If every person
I mean,
had guns, they'd cause way more less damage because somebody will take them out right away. You won't have to wait for the police.
Yeah, but I mean,
You look at that, and I don't know, because I can only talk about here. The most armed communities have the least crime. Period. I mean, it's a
what, sorry?
statistic.
Most armed
Most
communities.
armed communities
But
have the least amount of crime. Period.
let's say we all
Nobody's gonna screw.
agree to remove the weapons. What can you do for people who are, like, I guess not everybody's stable. who wants to kill other people, let's say without a weapon because nobody has a weapon, but maybe by driving over them, maybe, you know, it
Well-
happened here before, right? It happened here where
Oh, yeah.
drove over,
Always find a way.
over
Hey,
people.
look what they did in England. England banned all, but they started using knives. Now they're trying to ban knives.
They banned all weapons,
Mhm.
even for the
Yeah.
police.
The police don't even care. Only special tasks, I believe, have them.
And
But they've had a slew of knife attacks.
they had what, sorry?
He's trying to ban knives now.
Ah, so it doesn't.
He's changed.
Like, you know,
Man's gonna kill no matter what. That's the whole point of it. Where we are today, just like we have been throughout our history.
if you have the mentality to kill, you can create a weapon with pretty much anything. So
Yes, I understand. Yeah, but with the guns, it's so fast and easy, you know. Like, let's say kids, you know, taking their parents' gun or something and going and shooting or something, you know, irresponsibly in a school. You know, that's kind of a knife would be much, you know, in this case, a knife would be much better here, you know.
Yeah, but they did it in China, right? A few years back. Was a school in China or Russia? Knife attack on a school.
Yeah, but at least it's less people. I mean,
Oh, he killed a lot of people. Killed a lot of people. I think it was kids. I think it was kids. Was it? I'm pretty sure it was China.
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's the solution, you know, like it's
Peace, balance, correct
the most
conduct.
important thing is yeah, to reach peace,
Yeah.
balance, conduct, that's for sure. There's no way around it. It can be a gun, a knife, whatever. Like you said, you can, if you want to kill someone, if you have the, I mean, virus. Holy crap, you know, it can be a virus, you know. It's so easy. It is so easy to make a virus that would kill people. It really is.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what's the big deal? Look, it's easy. I mean, if somebody has the intention, I guess some people did. It's all about the intention. If they have it, they got it. A little bit of money, not too much, and they can have it.
They got
What does it cost to make a virus? I mean, to engineer a virus.
they got
We financed it. I don't know. That's
Much money, no?
Fauci. His NIH financed the freaking thing.
5G. You know how many people they can take out with frequencies?
That's ground control for the military, is it not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Never mind guns. Guns are outdated.
Yeah,
For
now the technology.
the technologies they've had for a long time.
Whether it's bio or.
Can you imagine what they have that you don't know about?
Exactly. All the suppressed
Very
stuff,
interesting. Yeah.
they have it all. Every time you have an inventor or, you know, whatever, that comes up with something, man, they're on them right away,
Like
man.
a solution.
Bang. They either buy them out or they take them out.
One or the other.
There's no in between. They don't give you a choice.
But you know what? If somehow the truth always at the end, I don't know how long it takes, but it always wins, which is nice. And I feel.
Well, this is what's happening
I
now.
feel
The
that's
truth
what's
cannot be
happening.
suppressed anymore.
I feel.
No.
That's
The light of day. Everything's coming to the light of day.
like I remember Hans Peter and Gino, you guys were like, a big change has to happen. Things have to completely change for change to happen, for us to change. Something big has to happen. The old system has to get destroyed. I remember you guys saying that, but I was thinking.
That's the way it's always been.
I was thinking it's a little bit too much, you know. It's happening. It's happening right
Hi,
now.
Lisa.
Yeah,
It's
which is great. I mean, I hope it goes as peacefully as possible. You know.
we have to. We have no more choice now. We have to focus on peace, balance,
Yeah,
correct conduct.
we pray it goes.
We have to work at the soul level. Like we've talked about this a lot of times. Doing things in the matter state of physicality did not work up to this point. Do you think it's going to work now? It's not going to work. We have to move, elevate. We have to. There's no other option. This is the only way.
Elevate ourselves first,
You
and,
know?
and any Any bad intention.
even with the few studies they've done just on meditation and so on, with crime rates going down and all that, it's the answers are there. They've always been there. So that's the thing we got to focus on. This is master
Gotta
fasting.
change.
Clean up the shit. Look at all. You go look at these. What's happened with these mobs and going crazy. I can assure you, half of them are on drugs.
Oh, yeah.
All of them are plugged up.
Mhm.
I can assure you.
Yeah, be the change you want to see today more than ever, because we have no other choice, really. We have to be the change.
I mentioned earlier, I think it was off camera, but what I had to give my mother colonic. She was not a happy camper until we unplugged her. She was not in a good place. How can you be in a good place when you're constipated?
Her mood, you mean, like in the past days?
Yeah, and plus we had the full moon. When was it? Yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
When you're in an imbalanced state, the energies of the full moon and stuff affect you even more. Ask any police guy, or any person that works in a hospital. They'll tell you stories about the full moon days. There's always more commotion, always on the full moon days.
Even when we're cleaning up, we feel it. With all the cleaning up we're doing, we're still feeling it. So imagine
she's in bed now. Awesome.
the average person. Yeah. So she's happier now?
Oh, she's not up
smiling?
complaining. It's when she was not a happy camper, man.
Yeah, she gets angry at the curtain.
How old is she, Gino?
Next month, 82.
She's not that, but she's
Not
just,
old,
well,
not very
since
old.
Father passed, which is
She's giving up.
5 years ago. His father passed.
Once you give up,
Yeah.
there's nobody's gonna be able to help
I
you.
think she was so used to him, to be with her
And
and do everything together.
how many? You guys have been around a while. How many people have we seen come through MFS that they want? Yeah, they're gonna do whatever it takes. Whether and gone. Never see them again. As soon as they see they have to look in the mirror and start doing some work, they're gone.
It's a lifestyle.
They're looking for the next magic potion, pill, lotion, or whatever, right?
Lifestyle change is never easy. It has never been master fast or any other.
But this is where, when we see the few of us, the few of the few that are sticking around and doing the work. Yeah, we're falling off here and there. That's who gives a shit. But we're sticking to it no matter what. We're getting up and continuing.
And that's what it
Because
takes.
what the fuck other option is there? Excuse me. What are we gonna do?
No other option, unless you go back.
Go back to what? Take
Outstate. I mean, that's the only other alternative. The only other, this is so.
Yeah, it's the alternative
It's
of
hard. It's
not
hard.
wanting to know.
Yeah, exactly. Putting your head back up your ass.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was thinking those things, head in the sand, but even better, head of your ass.
In AA, we call it wait. You hope you stay around long enough to hear a pop. Pop is your head coming out of your ass.
Oh.
It's the same here.
Exact same.
It's the same here.
So, I've been at this a long time and I fell off a lot of times.
Yep.
But there's no option in my mind to ever give up. There's not, even though you get in those
Give up
down
space.
times, it may last a week or two or longer. The mind is always, I gotta get back on. I gotta get back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not, it never goes away. For me, other people, they just give up and
Yeah,
they're looking for a magic pill.
Yeah, you can see it more than ever when you are in it, and fall off, especially when you fall off. You can see the whole thing, the whole trap. And you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. Do I continue or do I go back? And I mean, honestly, we all fall off. We all fall off. And that's totally fine. We are normal. That's how it should be. We're humans. We have to learn. We have to grow. It takes time.
We're dealing with gazillions of emotions from our ancestral lineage, whether we believe it or not. And if, how can we not be, how can we not be part of all that? I see, I could see it, like the state of the mental state of how my mother is and stuff. I can sense that. It affects you. It's because it's part of you. It's not something that, you're going to snap your fingers and solve these things, man. It's going to take work.
Yeah.
It's going to take work. This is the most challenging times this past couple of years, taking care of my mama, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also her challenges are also partly your challenges, right? Because
Yeah, you can't
we
tell
come
I'm
from
cuckuu too.
we come from the same home. We come from the same home, so there are lots of work for all of us. We all come and yeah, like for example, I would say my father is a very stubborn man, but I can see I'm very stubborn. Yeah, there's so much for all of us. All of us to I did. I mean, sometimes I talk to Gino and we're like, don't try to change me. I'm like, okay, but I have to change. You know that, right? Stagnation is disease. I keep reminding him, you have
Okay.
to.
It has to be done on our own to change. We can't force people to change.
Yeah, without force, of course. But when you are together, you mirrors for each other, and use that as an opportunity to see your challenged areas.
Lisa, what's happening with you?
I was just trying to count how many days of MFS I did.
Does it matter?
It's no, I think that's the funny thing is somebody else asked me what day I was a few days ago, and I said I don't know.
Are you doing a long one or?
No, well, it's over right now, but I went to
You're looking better.
Yeah, you look good.
yeah 10. I did 10 days, and Steve and I talked a little bit about this. Well, one of the thoughts I had of going as long as I could go on MFS and then stopping 2 days off, 2 to 3 days off, and then getting back on, going again till I feel I need to stop taking the days off.
That's fine.
So it's sort of working. It's like it's playing itself out, right? And so, but it's very interesting to observe what's happened. So, let's see, 3 days ago or so, I had a really restless night, and now I can identify it. I can identify that I have become at that point uncomfortable with the emptiness, with the physical emptiness, and I start I start manifesting it in sleeplessness, higher anxiety levels, and I can sort of think about it as it relates back to some of my longer fasts and so on.
Well,
But
we
yeah,
understand that the weaknesses come to the surface when you start cleaning out, right?
yeah.
Don't think that you're manifesting it. It's also part of the healing reactions that are happening when you start purging. Part of it. Just don't let it frustrate you. Just embrace it and move through it.
Well, I found myself having a very off balance day, and then I ended up breaking my fast then after that, and that's okay. And so I spent 2 days off. I also had so I guess it was a 10-day master fast, and during that time I did my 36-hour dry fast, and the day that I broke, I ended up doing 2 enemas. After the second one, I was shivering and practically shaking in bed.
Healing reactions, yeah.
And it was crazy. I just had to go pass out in bed after that, put on a ton of clothes, and it was so, yeah. It's happened before, but not recently. And yeah, and then the next day I had a major release.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's crazy. So,
How did you feel after the release?
oh my gosh. So good. I did so much work. You know, where is John? John's not on here, but John brought up the physical. Will you have the physical stamina to do whatever you're used to doing and so on? I planted so much in these days. Steve knows it, right? It's like I dug holes. It was like superhuman strength. It's crazy. Well, actually, when I did my dry fast last week, it was last Sunday. We did a day of work at the community garden, and it was the hot sun, and everybody else was, guzzling and said I'm good and all. But I took it easy. I didn't go too hard. But yeah, later on during the week, I was just digging holes, and then the other night, I needed to dig more holes, and it wasn't a problem. It's amazing.
You can relate to when you release, moving out obstructions. Go back to what? Arnold Ehret's V? Takeaway O equals,
Yeah.
right? V take away P take away O equals, no, V take away, what is
V
it?
minus O.
V minus O equals P.
V vitality equals power.
Personality,
I'm
construction.
V equals P minus O.
That's it. I just went blank on that for a second. But we go back to that, relate to that, and you can see the clarity of how that works in our physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Once we release those obstructions, whatever level it's at, the vitality goes up automatically. And people are saying you need nutrition, you need vitamins, you need minerals. Really? Okay. That's stimulation. That's a whole different ballgame. Yeah, you can stimulate yourself, but it's not at a price. Whenever you stimulate yourself, there's a price to pay.
Yes.
It's at a cost of our health.
Yes.
This is a whole different understanding when we're doing these levels. And it's amazing that we can come to realize that through our experience and just look at it and for what it is. That's what I like to say, the answer is in plain sight. If you can't see it, just do it over and over again, and then you'll come to the realization of what it really is eventually. But it's so simple and staring right at us all the time. It's awesome.
That's
And
funny.
the same thing goes with the heat too. There's an immediate sensitivity to the heat after you start putting the obstruction in.
Yeah.
And when you eliminate it, the heat it's just energy.
No problem.
Yeah.
We started the big garden this morning. When I got over there at 7 o'clock, that was 36 hours into the dry. And worked for 4 hours, tilling and planting. It was 90 degrees when we finished.
Wow.
No problem. Little problem. I ended up breaking when I got home about an hour later. My body's not in the same state it was last year. So I broke the dry. It was a little woozy. Kind of overdid it a little bit. Put in like 400 pepper plants. We're not screwing around.
Wow.
It was a busy morning. But completely dry. I mean, that. It's crazy what you can do in the dry. Energy is just through the freaking roof.
Yesterday
And
when I was
very
dry,
very little sweat.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
yesterday when I was dry, I went on a 12-mile bike ride.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It was with both the kids, and we went over to my mom's house.
Good.
And, they all had lunch or whatever, and I told her that it was a dry day, and she's like, don't you think that you're going on a bike ride and you need, something? I was like, nope, I'm fine.
You won't have to carry anything for your kids and leave it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend on Facebook, and it said I was in the dry. And he said, what about hydration? And I just said, it's a myth. Oh, he asked about what it was, water. You don't drink water. I said, I haven't drank water in over 2 years. And he said, what about hydration? I'm like, that's a myth.
Mhm.
And
How can
that
people,
was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
He didn't answer back.
that there, people think you're a wacko when you say anything like that right away. Water? Oh, okay.
You have to be in the body's got to. Because what I did was what I was able to accomplish last summer as compared to what happened today. It's a different state. So,
Are you in a better state?
no, I've been eating more this year than I was last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you see the difference.
Oh, big time. Big time.
Oh.
At least the last 2 breaks, I kept clean. So,
Nice.
not in that 3-hour window yet, but it's a lot cleaner. No peanuts. I think I finally broke the peanuts. The damn peanuts killing me.
Wow. Well, when I broke, when I was eating yesterday, it was really cool to have the food fresh from my garden.
Yes.
The flavors were so amazing. And everything smelled, it's such a, if you're gonna eat, right, the fasting is such a gift to the eating because you enhance everything that had become so numb to your senses. And it's such a, just good, want everybody to experience that.
I mean, the appreciation with fasting for food is like you can't compare it.
Yeah.
Joy that comes with eating after fasting, you cannot compare it to anything. Now you can eat the best meal, even tastiest, I mean, or whatever, but like good fruits and good vegetables, maybe go to fancy restaurant and have a great meal. It's still not going to be the same. I mean, imagine you're eating when you're full versus when you're hungry.
Mm.
Very big difference. Of course, you enjoy when you're hungry, or when you want to eat, you're empty. Compare them. I mean, and I have experienced this, overeating after a fast. When I overeat after a fast, I don't enjoy it nearly as much as when I break my fast with a few bites. Um, the joy of eating when you're empty is different than when you're full. Doesn't compare.
Yeah. And I would say I almost enjoyed eating more yesterday than I did today. Enjoyed, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm ready to go back to not having it tomorrow. It was a cool experience yesterday. It's so interesting how many more things you manifest too when you're fasted. And so this place where I've been getting fruit trees, they posted that they had a lot of fruit they had harvested, and one of them was a bucket list fruit that I really wanted to try, which was ice cream bean. And so drove down there, ended up getting this great selection of fruit, and then I found another place too that had really great mangoes that were somebody had harvested and just brought them to this fruit stand. So I stopped at our fruit stand and found rare mangoes, and then lychees, and the lady was really nice and telling me how people just brought them to her. And she said to me, I had this huge bag of mangoes I picked, put them on the counter. She said, what are you going to do with all of these? I said, well, we really like mangoes, but she just didn't get it after that, Yeah, I got that, and I got a black sapote tree too.
Most people do not look at fruit as a meal.
No, absolutely not. They look at me like I'm crazy, which is cool because then I just keep talking.
I'm sure there are fruitarians now, like there are raw foodists and fruitarians in Florida, so I'm sure they're getting used to that, right?
Well, it's weird. Well, this was a little farther out of town. I drove about an hour out, and I told this person, I said, you really should post this in these fruit groups on Facebook because there's so many people that are buying up fruit right now. It's crazy. It's just like the seeds. fruit trees, you know, and it is hard to get seeds still right now. I don't know if you guys hear screaming in the background, but
It's okay. Yeah. So you mean like finding seeds for planting?
it's hard. Yeah, well, yeah, any buying seeds is hard. And then the fruit trees are selling really fast. When I'm talking to growers, they're usually gone within a week or two. But I had some really great fruit and I was able to harvest the seeds. And so I've been frantically planting everything we ate. So I've got a lot of rare seeds going. And I probably won't even keep the plants, you know, but I'm going to spread the love and give them out. So
They do get big, you know.
they do get big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what people have said to me about what we've done on our property. I'm pretty good with pruning, so we'll see. And then, you know, you don't know what's going to survive too. So I got a new fig tree yesterday too. It was a volunteer plant at the community garden, and the manager there dug it up for us. So that went in the ground yesterday too. It's really neat. All of this stuff is so neat here.
You had figs off a tree?
This one, it actually is fruiting already. It's only about 2.5 feet high.
Wow.
And it's fruiting, yeah. So at the community garden, they've got this great pile of compost. But actually, this one wasn't even in the compost, which is interesting too. So we'll have to see what happens. I got something called blackberry jam fruit also, that tree. That's a bush, I think. So now I'll be getting more into the bushes kind of thing and pollinator plants. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And the papayas, I'm trying to figure out. So, and then the animals and the pests and stuff. There's so much work to do on this small property. It's crazy. So.
There's always something to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to have to rip out, my garden is finishing up now. Tomatoes are just finishing off. It's really interesting how different it is here. Like, okay, the first season of growing's over. It's like, that's done. Now you have to have your summer plants in. And, you know, because it's hot and humid here.
Any places nearby to go foraging, wild foraging?
It's sad, but they bulldozed over this area so badly. I am trying to locate some groups that do that. It'll probably be in our future. We'd have to venture out farther. But there's lots of purslane growing in my yard. And yeah, Hans is excited about that. I know, I always think of you when I look at my native plants. And it's fun because I do the weeding on my own, and so I keep certain plants growing, and it's really cool to watch that.
Yeah, we got purslane over here too. Some years it goes like crazy and some years less.
I had dandelion. I put dandelion in spring.
Has anybody got any plantain or mallow?
Plantain, yeah.
Plantain. That doesn't grow up here.
Mallow.
Lisa can probably grow the plantain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as like, see, you know, when we start, like in the discussion we started, when you think about, you know, the lifestyle that we try to live with, you know, with fasting and clean eating, how can you, the hardest thing is, with all the problems that are surrounding this whole world, is we can't reconciliate to the rest of the world because we're doing something completely different. And for us to, that's why we always then egg on, like everybody said, you know, like I tell, oh, I don't drink water. Oh shit, you know, that's the end of the world. And when people, when you do pioneering with yourself and you then try to go back into the normal society, as I said, I found that it's very hard to reconcile because they don't understand what you're doing.
No, it's impossible.
And you know that what they're doing is not conducive. But another thing is also, and you said it just then, Lisa, you're so busy doing a simple lifestyle. You know, like I've seen people, they're busy just trying to run the world. And what do they achieve? Money, wealth. But at the end, when you fast, you understand that that is not really something that is beneficial to you as a human. It's to you as a person in society to manifest yourself against other people. But when you really look into it, all wealth and anything that you try to achieve, at the end of the day, the last jacket that you wear before you go has got no pockets. It hasn't got any pockets to take anything with you. So just to reconcile that in our society. But I got to do it for my kids. No. Your kids have to live for themselves by you showing them how it's done. Not by you giving them, no, showing them what has to be done to live on this planet in balance. I find that an obligation to me much more now than it ever has been. Because everybody says, I got to make more money for the kids and I got to try to do this and that so I can pass it on. Why don't we pass on? I mean, that's just me. I like to see and pass on what I've learned as a human being living on this planet in peace, balance, and correct conduct. Pass that on. And when you pass that on and your kids would understand that, you're not chasing the dollars. You're not chasing the mighty dollar. It stops. That's where we can't reconcile an existing lifestyle in fasting and cleaning your system and connecting to source. There is no money in source. There is no money. There's only connection and freedom. That's as simple as that. And when you understand that, then all the problems that we discussed, all this stuff that goes around the world, this is problems that we have implemented as human beings, and we can't change them anymore. Can we change the genocide that we have done to so many different races as white supremacy people? Can we reconcile what we've done against the Red Indians, against the Aboriginals, against the rest of the planet? No, we can't. But it's a burden that sits on us. And how do you and that's what I'm saying, that's where the ancestor lines come in too. Because you have to, as an individual, reconcile that with yourself. And then you know that you talked about weapon. War has never brought peace. Show me one war that has brought peace. It doesn't. It can't. Violence cannot create peace. It's impossible. How does that work? But anyway, that's just something that when you live a simple lifestyle, it comes always to you. And that's where, as I said, planting your own garden, how busy are you living a simple lifestyle? How many challenges do you have in yourself? And then that's when I understand that the solutions are only local. Because all the problems that we have implemented all around the planet, we cannot solve, we can only mitigate. And that's what we do, we're mitigating it. And by mitigating, we bring in another solution in that then causes another problem and a bigger problem sometimes, and most of the time. That's why we're locked up. Whole planet is locked up. Is that a solution to what exact problem? All these questions you can forget about really when you think about when you go on master fast, when you start fasting, when you live with less food, when you clear your system, all that becomes, to me, absolutely neglectable. I just don't want to know about it anymore. I don't have no desire to know what Donald Trump said, or even our Prime Minister. I'm not sure if you saw that little video clip this week. Our Prime Minister in Australia is Scott Morrison. And he went with some development blokes or whatever it was. They went into some new developments and they stood on somebody else's lawn.
Oh.
And the guy came out and pointed out to him, "Hey, yous, get off me lawn." So the Prime Minister had to actually move off the lawn to get off. And the guy was standing there, obese, barefoot. I just reseeded this grass. And the Prime Minister said, all good, mate, all good. Had to apologize to him. And I just laughed because of the combination of being the almighty power, and then you're standing on somebody else's lawn and you get told to piss off. And then I thought, I wonder if Donald Trump would ever been told to get off the lawn of somebody else's private property, you know what I mean? Just funny.
I don't think so.
Nah, but I'm saying that's where, as I said, we just mitigating the problems. And all the mitigations leads to nothing. Think about it. Why making yourself stupid with mitigating? Because you're not accepting the cause of the problem. That's another thing too. We just don't want to, and sometimes we cannot change the cause anymore. Like for all the indigenous people that we all killed off this planet, can't change that no more, but you can stop it. And I mean, about the weapons, Steve, like, again, you can debate. Think about how many debates do you want? Oh, everybody should have weapons, right up to the gills, or none should have weapons. Weapons have never solved the problem, They give you protection and people feel good about them, but they don't solve a problem, because when you use a weapon, you create a problem. Every time you use a weapon, doesn't matter if you shoot an animal or you shoot a human, or even a target, just a normal target, you're causing a problem because you're destroying. Any bullet that
doesn't
comes out
sound
of
like you've been the victim of a violent crime. I have.
yeah,
Okay, I wish I had a weapon in that situation.
look, but you understand that the issue is the society in itself has to come to the conclusion that weapons are not our solutions. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is, and that's why I'm saying that we can't change the whole society. That's what I'm saying. See what you try to live, and when you're under the pressure, look at George Floyd, okay? That guy that just got killed. And they tried to make him being a hero. He's not a hero. He's a criminal. He's been locked up. He's been on the meth. He's been on drugs. He's been the guy. I mean, at the end of the day, but it's not right that you kill a person. That's but instead you can debate this to however you want, but we should never be in a situation like we are in these things. As you said, the same thing, Steve. But the system. That's all I'm saying. I can come back to that. And we can, the more you discuss, the more you live in tabloids, the less you will change your own thing. And that thing maybe answers the thing, like why when you see Masterfast, when people do Masterfast, they come in, try to conquer something, and then they see that the conquering gets them right in front of the mirror, and that mirror is very unpleasant. So they go. They move. They don't come back. But they know the mirror. And I think that's a good thing, because that's a seed that is planted. Whoever has done MFS or has worked with fasting and living a clean lifestyle will understand how difficult it is within our society to live the lifestyle. It is. It's not easy. I mean, how can you say it's easy? It's a piece of cake. It isn't. I mean, I don't find it easy, because even with your own family and so on and so on, so you have to grow, as you said, stand up and say, I've just got to keep going. You just got to keep going, because you're doing it for yourself. And then only through your own leadership, you may have a chance to other people get interested, or your own kids can see it might be beneficial for us to do so. Yeah. But I'm just saying that's where, we can't change until you got to be the change. Yeah, of course you have to be. But then, as I said, it just comes down to the society itself. I just cannot see us in any way, form, or shape changing that, except that we do it in ourselves. That's all it comes down to. Because you can discuss it or negotiate or whatever you want to do. You see, the other thing that is on my heart is always, it's not that we don't know the answers. We just don't want to leave the answers. We know the answers, but we don't want to leave it. When you put answers in front of people, like I said, even in our society, if I show you, and I said it so many times, if there would be a scientific study that smoking causes lung cancer. Most smokers would not give a shit about it. They'll keep smoking. The answer's there. But are you going to change? No. It's my choice. And that choice is, as I'm saying, in our society, in the normal society that we live, people don't change there until you have to force them. And that's what I'm saying, that coercion, that coerciveness governing is then all that we have lived by. That's all we know. And what happens when you coerce somebody? Eventually the coercion turns back against you. Because you're pulling coercion, well, they'll retaliate. Retaliation is inevitable. The more you coerce somebody, the more they will retaliate against you. Isn't that? Well, doesn't that make sense? So if you don't sit together, but how can you have in America 350 million people sit together and agree on something? How do you want to do that? You can't. How can you do it? In your own home? That's where it starts. Can you find agreement and acceptance in your own four walls? If you can't, well, how can you expect it anywhere else? I don't know. They're the things that, and I'm not saying it as a negative thing, don't get me wrong, I think this is a positive, because the awareness that you have then is then, how do I change it? And I think you're doing it, Lisa. You know, you go out there, plant. I go foraging. Go out there and find a solution that works for you. Away from the system. Simple as that. You know?
Give a man,
anyway.
Feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the one and only way. You start with yourself. I just don't see it any other way. You have to start with yourself, and your home comes after yourself. And yeah, because you can have family members who are very stubborn to their own ways and not ready to change. But at least you be the change and live with that for a bit, because it's challenging, but everybody's learning through that challenge, you know. Even when a family member is not ready to change, this challenge is important for our growth as well. Then once we are, you know, feeling peaceful at home, then we can affect other people as well, slowly, you know. But definitely it starts with us.
It's even if you never said a word of what you're doing, the fields are gonna have effect on those around you.
When you are in peace.
But how, just on that, on the fields, you see, when you drive fast and when you're in a cleaning state, and even when you come out of it, see, the field strength, from me personally, I feel so strong about myself, about my own existence. But then I feel, you know, like the overburdening of society. If I walk after the clean, after the full dry, walk back in your shopping center, man, it's like getting swamped, you know what I mean? Like you're just trying to be like back into, I don't know, to back into prison, you know what I mean? Like it's just overburdening. That's to me, just from a field strength of view, where then you try even to avoid this, not avoiding by running away from it, but just, no, I don't have to go in there. No, I don't really have to go in there, you know what I mean? Does anybody feel that same, or how does anybody feel about that? Just a field strength, how does that work in a daily life, or even in I work for myself, so, and I don't have too much, like customers, I only really talk through the phone and so on and so on. But in a work life situation, how do you feel that when you, as I said, from a field strength point of view, how does everybody experiencing that?
Yeah, hi John. I know what you mean, because you're going into these stores or whatever, and you see it for what it is purposeless. There's no need for you to be there, right? And you can sense it. It's a strong, like me right now. You know, I have to go shopping for my mother, make sure. I don't really want to be doing that, but I got to do it. So every time I'm going to these stores, I don't need to be there. I'm being affected by the fields of those people. So what do we have to do? We have to be able to put ourselves in a stronger field strength and not let it affect us. Because if we allow it, that's the only way it's going to affect us, is only if we allow it. And will it happen that we allow it? Of course it will. Because we're being bombarded left, right, and center everywhere we turn. Family, friends, co-workers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why we're continuously working on building our field strength. And, I've noticed that, there'll be times where you're in that wonderful state. Doesn't matter who, what, where, when, why, nothing bothers you. Doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
You know?
But say, Lisa, how do you, like, but your kids, they're going to kindergarten yet, or they're still all at home?
Oh no, I homeschool.
Oh, homes. Oh, okay. But have you got contact, say, with other mothers and mother groups and all that?
Well, we're trying to get settled here, but the goal is that, yeah, and I'm going to be starting a group as well.
All right. Yeah. I'm just saying, see, when you then talk to other mothers, you know what I mean? And that's what I find fascinating, how people deal with, and when you try to empower yourself, with getting a cleaner system, and just, as I said, bringing a lifestyle where less is more and seeing the benefits of it, how do you then, as I said, discuss that with other people that then sort of say, oh, but you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't do that, and so on and so on. Yeah. That interaction of fields,
Yeah. I was part of a group last week that invited me along. They were in a very different place than I am, a young mommy group. But I had on my, come on, I had on my vegan hat, and so that led to some interesting discussions. But I do, and I've interacted with a group around here in the past that was an outdoor kind of focus group, but they were still using animals as entertainment, even though we were out in the wild. And so my goal now is that I'm going to start a group, and hopefully it'll attract through the fields. A group of people, can be a small group, but that will be interested in the energy that we, the energy and the thoughts that we have. So we'll see what happens with that.
But you see, that's where, and I like that, because at the end, that's what I find too, is that I don't want to change other people. If you can't find common ground, why digging for it? You know what I mean? Like, you can exchange, and there's nothing wrong with communicating, but if the awareness isn't there, or if the reception isn't there, why keep sending? You can spread the seeds. I mean, I'm always sow seeds as many as you can, that's nothing wrong. But at the end of the day, digging and trying to force the seed to sprout is something that it can't happen, because it only can happen by itself. So that's where I'm saying, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying with the reconciliation. So then you actually, and then people say, oh, like my kids. Oh, Dad, you haven't got any friends. I said, I don't need any friends. I'm my best friend. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's not that I don't have any friends, but I choose just where do I want to spend my energy, or am I wasting my energy fields itself by just getting bombarded by negativity? I'm sure you've had that too, that you walk in a room and all I feel is freaking negativity in here. You know what I mean? I think, Jesus, it's not a place where I really want to stay for long, because I want to get out of here. And that's sort of things that I'm looking at. You know what I mean? And in particular from a work environment. I mean, I do have meetings with customers on a sort of a regular basis. And as I said, it's just funny, when this happened with this lockdown, from one day to the other, just think about that, like, remember it was all happening in China and all this, and then we just, that doesn't really apply to us, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it all came across, and then from one day to the other, we can't shake hands anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough, yeah. So I go to customers and they say, oh, no, I can't touch you. Anyway, things like that, you know what I mean? It's very hard to sort of, as I said, I think, how the hell, or even close personal friends, you can't give them a kiss anymore. All right, fair enough. That's what it is, like, I'm just saying that is mitigating problems. That's not solving problems, that's just mitigating it. And all I'm saying is that's, you know, as a society, I have problems with that. That's where, I mean, I'm sure you guys all have too. It just pisses me off when I see this and I can't see that there's any reason for that behind, you know what I mean? But again, you know, everybody do themselves, as simple as that. Yeah.
Today I went to Whole Foods Market. I had to get something from there, and I don't usually go there. And there's so many people wearing masks, and I, it's such a bad energy coming from that. And then there were so many employees in there. It almost seemed like too many, like you're being policed even. And a lot of them were packing people's orders, because this is what's been going on for 2 months now, or 3 months, where nobody's going out, but they'll still get an order packed for them and have it brought to their house. And there's, in these carts where people are doing the packing, there's the huge bubble mailers that are insulated to put people's cold products in, right? And those are just trashed. It's just instant trash, and it's maddening. It's not even just the plastic bag now that you're escorting your home food with. It's this massive bubble mailer. And every cart.
Where do you think all these masks and gloves are going?
What's that?
Where do you think all these masks and gloves are ending up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're all in
Oh,
the
yeah.
freaking ocean.
Oh, it's crazy. So I was having a hard time dealing with that too today. And then I said to myself, what's the difference? Because I have a hard time dealing with that right now. But then at the other, let's say, lower end stores that I've been to, I get mad at what they're selling. Massive amounts of plastic bottles full of fluorescently colored liquid. And so it's like you can't win. Like I can't, you know, there's not one market that makes me feel okay about being there, kind of thing, or it doesn't. So I always have to return to, okay, it's my headspace. How am I gonna navigate through it? But it definitely, it affects me deeper and deeper every day, these things, for sure.
I have
So see, that's what I meant with the reconciliation of to the rest of the world, because and with the more that you clear and the more you know what it means to be in balance again, because that's a point, you know, the balance point. And you find even the more, I mean, the cleaner you are, because don't worry, see, when we're out of balance, and even the same in nature anyway, you get yourself, you try to get yourself back into balance. And then when you see, you never can be in balance, because it's always a seesaw effect, you know what I mean? It always goes that way. You can't, there's even in nature, it's nothing like stable, because everything fluxes. So you always go up and down, up and down. But even the cleaner you get, your balance point becomes more tangible, like more difficult to reach in a way, you know what I mean? Because you get more sensitive to a lot of things. And I find that a real good sort of a real game, but entertaining. That even the smallest thing, because I had a couple of weeks ago when I came off my dry fast, I don't know what I did, but I ate some. Anyway, I was sick for 12 hours. I was completely. I had diarrhea and I vomited, and it was just something at the end. I thought, what have I done wrong? And you know, so if you think, you question yourself, and then at the end, I mean, I spoke to Gina. You just purged something out that had to go out. It's still, because you see, what we always try, and that's another thing too with MFS or with in general, when people, oh yeah, I've done this now for 2 years. Now I'm the healthiest person I may ever. No, you're not, because you still have a lot of stuff in you. If it's physically, mentally, or emotionally and spiritually and all the rest of it, that has to still be released. And think about it. And you just said it too, Lisa. Even your interaction this week with groups, or when you know this is not very beneficial, or this is not really what I really want, that's all occupying as well. You know, like that's all something that you have to always digest. So at the end, when I was happy then, because after, as I said, for 12 hours, I just laid in bed and had to go, you know, with diarrhea and had to spew on. But it was just something that had to be purged out. After that, it was good as gold. Good as gold. But it's just something that needed to be released, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, no big deal. You know, at the time you think, yeah, oh shit, why? But because if it's balancing act, the body still keeps throwing things at you, you know. And if it's, and in particular, I mean, like, yeah, in particular with the dry fasting, when the emotional side comes, you really have to let go and just surrender to things and just lean back and say, look, I've just got to let it go. Because the more you, for me, sometimes it creates a rabbit hole too, for me. You know, like you go and start to think about it. Let it go. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just
Think too much, overthink everything.
yeah. I mean, that's just the way I feel, you know. But as I said, it comes down to the balancing act of that the body will never be in balance. You'll be always moving. It always moves in one. And the more you clean it, the more, yes, the swings are not as big, not as big, but it still moves up and down, moves up. That's just the way I feel, or I experiencing that, you know what I mean, through doing this now for 3 years, you know what I mean. And even before, I didn't live a sad lifestyle, put it that way, you know what I mean. I mean, you know, what's right and what's wrong, and what's healthy and what's clean and what's not clean. Maybe we can debate that too, you know. At the end of the day, the answers, and that's another thing, you have to find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put the burden on somebody else. Find the answer yourself.
What have you been up to lately with eating and fasting and so on? What's
Myself?
yes.
Yeah, I've since the lockdown sort of started, I was on level 4, 5 and 4, so always that way. And I tried to extend the dry fast. After I had that purging, I sort of did a week just only clean eating, and then I went away. I saw my son because he lives out at Broken Hill, which is 13 hours away. So we drove out there for a week. So I kept 2 days clean or fasting, and then I started eating again. So I really try to maintain at least 4, 5, and then just have 2 days of eating. But what I'm trying to do now is when the season change on the 21st comes, I'll see if I can go on a longer one, you know, on at least maybe 20 days. Just for the season change.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be gearing up for that. But also, you see, I take things a lot of on the emotional side of what I do then, you know, like I let myself guide. And that's what I'm saying. I can't find, if I want to go and sit in a shopping center and try to let myself guide through any emotional stuff, you won't find it in there. So I'll try to get out. And I mean, it was fantastic because out at Broken Hill, which is outback, which is way outback, you know what I mean? That's 13 hours in the bush. And there's a mining town there. And we went camping, and just the sky, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's out of this. When you see the whole Milky Way and you see a gazillion amount of stars, it is really mind-boggling. I mean, like it was fantastic. And not only that, even the drive. Even when I was going with my wife, but even driving through the countryside, not the country, to the outback. Yes, it's a tart road, but just the atmosphere, just the feel, and I can feel that now. You know what I mean? Ask me 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. But now I feel, and you can feel that it, you know, the exchange. You know what I mean? What happens, and because then we took different route getting to it and then back. And on the back, we drove through far more population and far more busier roads. And we both felt uncomfortable. You know, we both felt not right. It's not really the right way. It's just amazing when you see the differences, you know what I mean? When you ride out in nature and, as I said, surround yourself with it and have that open space. Then when you said when you live in suburban area, you know, simple as that. But yeah, so that's what I do on level 4, 5, and we try fasting. You know, I just try. You got your 36. I do 48s. Now season change. Last season change, last full moon, I did 72 for that. But I mean, I've never pushed past 80 hours. So I don't know. Just see, for me, I struggle emotionally on the dry fast. Yeah, like the longer it goes, the emotional side really comes out.
What do
And I
you,
find,
yeah, how does it manifest? Is it anxiety feelings?
no, it's more like discomfort, like emotional discomfort. I can't focus
Yeah.
anymore. You know what I mean? It's hard to just get things straight out. And then I go out and then just things start to, you just sort of dig over things. I don't have, like, I mean, no, it's not anxiety, you know what I mean? It's not like that I feel pressure. It's just, it's just that, I don't know, it's an overwhelming feeling that appears. And then I see sometimes in the dry fast, I do that, take the tinctures, you know what I mean? So I make it a semi-wet, you know what I mean? Sort of, and that helps. That helps, definitely. One thing helps quite a lot is, and that's why here, look, I'll show you my concussion here. Remember the GANs? Look what I got.
Mm.
See, I screw that onto the bottle. Hang on, let me just do that quickly because, so I've got that. And then I just sit here and breathe that in, you know what I mean? So I can, with this one, I can actually just do it through the nose. You know what I mean? I can just take the GANs in through the nose. So I do that, so I made that up and it helps, you know what I mean? It helps to, but again, I now, and as Gina said, it's the energy from GANs is there for what you need. But then it's not, like, so remember, we have, again, it's our paradigm. We try to be stimulated. But what is stimulation actually? What is it actually? Like, and at the end, if nothing else, then when you say, okay, if I go on, I know, painkillers or whatever you want to do, but like if you do the normal society, stuff that we do in a society, you stimulate yourself and you get overdosed. Alcohol or smoking or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like you just dose yourself over and over and over. But something like that, you can't overdose. It's impossible. So it only helps to the extent that the body needs it, but then anything else, you can't hype yourself up on it. You know what I mean? You can't, I'll drink another one, I have another drink, It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So all I know and I feel is that it helps to, the body just, I don't know, just to release, you know what I mean? But it's very hard to describe. I mean, I still can't put words or, I don't know, feelings to it. It's just an emotional stuff.
Do you ever practice visualization or meditation? Yeah.
I do meditate. Yeah, I do a lot of transcendental meditation. I like that a lot, because you go in nothingness. And look, I mean, I do go into different realms as well when you do meditate. All right. But how should I say? All that I have not found that it connects as good as when I'm just out in nature. I found that still the best thing just to be.
I've found that sometimes using visualization of nature has helped me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like when you say visualization, in what regards? Like in just visualize another realm, or how do you visualize things?
One of my favorite things right now is to think about being in the jungles and mountains of Southeast Asia. So there is something that I do completely think about, this vision. And I go there in my head, and I also am playing in my mind some music or sounds or chanting, and it helps ground me. I've been working with this one a lot. In the past, it's also been working with a guru, and so I have visualized either sitting with the guru or being opposite them and us transferring energies. But right now, I have been doing well with this vision of nature and this mountain and this jungle. And it's been very nice. It sort of pairs up with the meditation that I've been doing a little bit too. So I have also done the meditation where I'm looking towards nothingness, and I go every day. I do different types of meditation too. I go with a instinctual feeling, and so then during the day I can check back in and have this visualization. It's been helpful.
Yeah, see, for me, I'm not that, see, for everybody has different ways of getting themselves through this, or it's just working with yourself. And I find visualization another realm to go into. Doesn't do that much for myself, because I'd rather more live, right? Like, see, even with meditation, for me, meditation is really the whole day. I try to create an aura within myself that I'm happy the whole day, okay? And by doing things that make me happy. And that's where I'm coming back to the reconciliation with the normal society, because when you try to do that, then you always get dragged away from it. You get dragged away from it, you know what I mean? It takes you out. Because if I can potter by myself here and can do this and just can do that and just do what I wanted to do in my own way, I feel the best. Even then I don't get interrupted. I can do this and I can, you know what I mean? Like, because it's about satisfaction. I feel I satisfy myself the best when I can do my own thing. Then I have no issues, because I have issues when you get disrupted or when you get dragged into stuff that you don't want to do. That's really painful, or not painful, but it's as I said, but otherwise that's really, and look, think about it, the time that you spend in your garden. Do you feel that ever a waste? Do you feel that's ever a waste to you? No.
Yeah.
It's what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree. You're touching on exactly what I go through also, that I have, it becomes my trigger, which is when I get pulled away by the three little people who are needing their things, right? And so here I want to be able to follow my train of thought or have peace of train of thought. And then there's other things that need to happen. So that's, yeah, it's been hard for me like that too.
And see, and that's why you can see that when you find your own way, like your own pottering, a beneficial way for yourself, and then you know, oh, but I know I've got to go and do this and or even I've got to go and see your relative. Oh, shit, I don't want you to see your relative, but anyway, let's go and do that, and so on and so on. So that's when you get out of, that's when I feel that I get out of my meditative state. I love just to potter away, and then that's my meditative state. And see, without trying to, as I said, sit consciously there and just meditate my way away, that is, I don't know, that to me it's a stimulating effect that it has, but it's not the day-to-day living that we should have, because we should be, when you can surround yourself with a conducive environment, remember, environment dictates outcome. That's all it is. Environment that you sit yourself and that you're in dictates your outcome. If you find if I find my own, and the best way to find my own environment is by just being myself. Remember, don't be afraid to walk alone and don't be afraid to like it. That's what I do. So all that is then to me conducive to potter away and do my own thing. Go and do my colon cleanse, go and do my this, go and do, you know, have your little routine. How happy is everybody if you have your own routine and you can stick to it, you know? When you get dragged out of, you don't mind changing when it is conducive, but you feel the differences when you get dragged away from that conducive environment, and then you've got to be, and that's when you then understand when you get, you know, you have to go away this and you have to go away that. Yeah, that's when I say it's hard to reconciliate, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is for me, not the day, you know, what you can do on a continuously base and on as a routine that is most, and that's where I think everybody, and I change things around. So I don't do that no more. I don't do that no more. And that's why even fasting then is so beneficial, because you don't have to worry about cooking. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. You know, like you just, yourself, you just can dig away and dig away, you know, and that's sort of, that gives me complete, and that's what I feel. See, that's when I say I feel connection to source. I feel then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I feel that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't know, that's just me, the way I see it, or I do it.
So when you are eating, what kinds of eating do you practice?
Okay, well, basically all wholesome stuff, all right? So just, the issue is, when you sort of look into that, and that's why I'm saying with foraging, that's something that really triggers your system, your physical system quite a lot if you start introducing natural food. Because, but apart from that, and that's why I'm saying I'm just doing another course on the 23rd with Diego Benotto, and because as I said, I really got to go back into that, because as I said, my chickpeas, my plantain, my purslane, and so you know your stuff, and you know what is right, and what is beneficial for you, because even there you find certain things trigger me more than others, like it's as simple as that. So apart from that, I just try, obviously it's the fruits, it's the fruits that are for me most beneficial. And then it's just basically your green veggies, you do occasionally a bit of starch, a bit of, a bit of rice or potatoes, but that's, look, at the end, all that for me is minimal. When you can rely on your fruit and on your veggies, and most of the time I did for years just an alkaline diet where you just pump yourself full of green vegetables, like it's just coming out of your ears. And that's great. But what the big issue that I have with that is actually that, and I think when I got onto that Zach Bush, I don't know if you ever seen him, that doc, that he's a triple board certified physician that actually has actually even really stopped his, not his medicine, but got into why are people getting sick? Because we're putting on the wrong food. Why we haven't got the wrong food? Because it's not planted in the right soil. So he's doing now also, he works with farmers to change their habits of how to actually farm organic and natural food. So he's going to do that. And when you understand that, as I said, our food is so depleted and it's not, hasn't got the right nutrients in it, that do we need it or not? I agree, because once you understand that you don't need food as we experiencing it, or very minimal, because the body manufactures it itself. And I think that's a learning process that I've gone and have learned a hell of a lot here in the last 3 years, by that you can let your body just do whatever has to be done by itself. That autopilot of nature that you're in. And I think that is very beneficial. And that's where then weighing up, if I eat something wrong this or wrong that, who cares? Who cares? Because at the end, it's what you do continuously. And when you continuously fast for 4 or 5 days a week, and then, as I said, throw your longer fastings as well, that is, to me, talking. That's, to me, living. So if you then fall off or not fall off, even in the clean days, and then all I do is, have started to do is eat seasonal. So not the same thing over and over, nah. At the moment, here pears and apples are very, so I eat that. And if they become, and that's why you can see with the fruit trees, if you have your own orchard, if you have your own this, then you know what is seasonal because it grows. Then eat that. So there's a lot of things, but hey, perfect lifestyle, there's no such thing. There's just no such thing. Everybody's having a self-on if they're trying to do that. But it's just the understanding what is most beneficial and the periods of most beneficial behavior to extend that.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all I try to do. Because then you know what is, it's the waking up in yourself, I don't have to wake up anybody else. I'm still waking up myself. You know what I mean? I still have to wake up myself before I want to wake up anybody else. That's what has to be what you have to do. You know what I mean? And then you understand what is beneficial, even from a food point of view. You know when you put the wrong thing in your mouth. Well, don't worry about it. But what are you doing the most of the time? That's where I police myself, if you want to call it that way. I say, no, I don't need that. No, don't need that now. No need for that. Let's just keep going with that. And then you know yourself that beneficial feeling that you get through that. And then try to extend that until you fall off the next time, you know what I mean? And it's as simple as that. But you see, and that's even then what I'm saying is, that's what happens is when you know what is beneficial and what is not beneficial, you know? I think that's very important, that you then understand, because that gives you the answers to everything. And stick to it. But is it hard? Yes. But that's where you got to do it. And I think, as I said, if you can exchange it to other people and see that nobody's perfect. We all fall off. We all do things not correct, and we shouldn't be, because nature isn't perfect. Like, see, just that metaphor. If nature was perfect, there would be no death. But death is part of the system. It's part of everything. But you see, think about how we try, even with this whole virus bullshit, how we try to run away. Oh, we don't want to get sick. We don't want to get sick. But sickness is nothing else than an expression of the body to heal itself. That's what it is. If you can accept that, then how do I not get sick? But even if you do get sick, it's an expression of the body to heal itself. That's all the body tries to do, to balance itself out. So take that responsibility and everything will change. You know, simple as that.
I found myself in the I forget what me and my daughter were in the Whole Foods supermarket, and we a lot of times my husband does the food shopping right now, which is really nice, because I don't have any desire to really be in supermarkets. But I found myself in the section like sort of dairy, and then they have the vegan meats, cheeses, and stuff like that. I found myself looking at it, like contemplating, what could I get from there? You know, I there was no primary intention of even thinking about that today, and it's so like it's good to just laugh about it too, you know, because I observed it and it was kind of hilarious to me. I'm like, why am I looking at all these things lovingly? Like, and I'm trying to figure out what will fit, you know, can I get that? Will that fit into where I'm at right now? You know, but like other people are eating it. If I get that thing, it's better than the other thing back there. So yeah, I still get that. Oh man, it was something else. And then I also saw mustard sitting on a shelf too. And so then I had to identify why I wanted the mustard so badly. It's really for the sodium content, and then a little bit for the flavor. And then I remembered how awesome it was to taste the fresh mustard greens at the community garden.
Yeah.
And I just thought, no, okay, you want that mustard flavor? Okay, so let's grow it. Let's grow it, you know, and we'll enjoy it that way. And, you know, let's make our way out of this place right now.
When we look at anything that's made for food consumption by a corporation that's packaged, just think about what the purpose of that is. What's the purpose of it? Make a profit and keep selling it over and over and over. So, you know, the best thing is to stay, when we choose to eat, to fruits and veggies. Even though they've been manipulated and everything else, that's another story. But
it's really fascinating what happens to you when you're in a store and you're around. I was telling my daughter that the music playing was picked out specifically so we would buy more. It's researched and all.
Subliminal messages.
And so it's so hard. Yeah, I mean, I have total empathy with everybody else who struggles with it too.
It's triggering the addiction, it's all, though.
No.
If I spent time in a bar, you think I wouldn't drink?
Right. Well, I made my own
Maybe not, maybe not in the first couple hours, but the longer I stayed in there, the more chances are that I would pick up the drink. It's just triggers.
It's an essential business, right?
You know, yeah. Yeah, they are.
I mean, if you go see the way, if I go in a shop, I mean, look, it comes down to a very simple, the principle that I have, and I said it here many times, is you either live in a natural state or you live in a human fantasy. And even veganism and all the different paleo diet and all this, that all man-made thinking. But where do you find the answer is within yourself when you use nature as a guide. Nature is your yardstick, is your measure. You measure off everything against. So if you walk in a shop, how easy is it to say, well, was it made by nature? No, that can't be good then because it's a man-made fantasy. It's a man-made product that is not beneficial. It's good for stimulation because all this, think about it, all this, when you walk in a supermarket, they're all stimulate you. They all have a certain stimulating effect on you. When you walk out into nature, then the whole thing stimulates you. It's a different frequency when I walk into a shopping center aisle or down a creek bed. It's a complete different stimulation. And that's where you got to weigh it up. That's what I do. I see, like I don't even want to walk into these aisles because I know exactly what's in there, and it's not beneficial for me. And as we know and learn in this realm as well, that isolates is not the way to go, you know. And that's where you got to pick yourself up. Am I just running after an isolate, after a particular stimulating effect that has been implemented and paradigmed for right from the word I was born, you know, or even through your mother, because my mother was completely sugar laden with her whole diet. So when you're in your womb, then that sugar is in you too. That already gives that addiction to you as well. So all that stuff I'm saying is just, it's hard, you know, like but for me, it's easy to choose and know what is right and what is wrong. I have no problems with that. That's all very easy to do. But then to actually do it is the other stuff, you know. If you know it is one thing, but then to do it is the other thing, because then you still give in, you know. You still give in to sometimes, oh shit, yeah. I can't remember now. Something that, you know, even out of childhood, oh yeah, I haven't seen that for a long, long time. Yeah, I want that now, you know, and so on. But is it beneficial? No. Should I have it? No. Do I want it? Yes. Well, then I'll have it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's the choice, you know, the choice that you then have, and you know, give in to certain choices. Why not? But again, you know, like knowing that it is not correct is what is important. And that's why, see, this whole vegan and all these other stuff, it's all great if people, but does it really solve the problem? You know, how many unhealthy vegans have you seen? Yeah. You know, I've seen heaps of them. How many unhealthy sad diet people have I seen? How many unhealthy carnivores have I seen? At the end of the day, yeah, you can only work on yourself, you know. And one thing for sure, and that's all I say is, come over and over, it's just when you connect to nature, they're the answers. But sometimes you can't receive, you know, get their answers. You can't receive it because you're still too obstructed for it as well. That's another thing too. Yeah, like as I said, it's a constant juggle. But once you know the ins and outs, I think then it's just the choices you make you really have to live by, and to minimize the choices that just drag you away from being back with nature. That's as simple as that.
I wouldn't say nature's stimulating. I would say it's nourishing, like walking through.
Sorry, yeah, absolutely nourishing. Yeah.
Completely different.
There's no triggers there.
Yeah, I mean, I have mentioned, I think for years now, that I would love to eat nothing but um, food that I pick, or I don't know, something like that, or grow.
Mm.
Otherwise, I want to master fast, and um, and it's pretty hard here. I think it's gonna be a big, huge change to do that. But it would be nice, and I feel it's not impossible, but you really have to learn how to do it properly,
Yes.
and you need the space to grow your fruits and vegetables. It's not impossible, but I would say um, it's like a dream for me to live self-sustained kind of lifestyle. It is so beautiful. I mean, I love to learn. I really love to learn everything, and I feel that's where maybe I would like to put, like maybe the ultimate, that's like an ultimate goal, where to put my time and energy. I'm not sure how, yeah, like for example, like sometimes I think about would be nice to design my own clothes and make them myself, even the clothes. I feel that,
Yeah.
I love to shop at environmentally friendly clothes, or something that's natural, that's not it's not synthetic. And sometimes it's hard to find companies, and if you find something, maybe they don't have a nice style, and other companies have better styles, so I end up, the last time I shopped, I just bought whatever, but whatever works, I don't really care so much anymore. But it would be nice, that's one aspect, to learn how to do it. Like, of course, maybe someone would say, but you can't do uh, everything, you can't do everything. Yeah, but that's everything for that I need, like my clothes. It would be nice for me to learn how to make them. Be nice to learn how to make the food, everything from scratch, and like growing, if possible, would be, around me. um it would be nice to not not need to pay my an electrical bill or for water, but to have
Right. So
abundant.
are you gonna do the master fast way and transition into this now?
Me,
Yeah, you're gonna transition,
it's very hard to transition to that, like that, I mean, I would have to master fast pretty much maybe 9 months of the year, if I want to do that, because we don't,
Yeah.
until now, I don't have any fruits, and
yeah,
we have some greens, but we don't have tomatoes or zucchini yet, or like until now. So
yeah.
we're gonna have them for maybe 2 months or 3 months, 3 months. And I was telling Gino yesterday, I think, maybe I will preserve them somehow, because I'm
Mhm.
growing quite a bit of zucchini, for example. So I would maybe steam them and keep them for winter. um, it's a lot of work. It's not gonna be something. I mean, otherwise I would be. I can do it if I do a long master fast. If I'm willing to do a very long master fast for the year, maybe I will. I mean, thank you for encouraging me. Making me feel that I'm not crazy.
You should feel encouraged in it. I see it more now, not just because I'm living here, but because I've started to just work at it.
Yeah.
And so now I look at what I've done so far and I think that, wow, I could have just started this years ago. Just if I just had done one pot, because that one pot teaches you so much. It's just like I think with Masterfast, if you just jump on for a day, right? And then you learn something. And so that's what I'm getting that information now. Okay.
Yeah, you're teaching your kids. It takes time for them to learn something, right? So it's the same thing, right? We have to give ourselves time to learn.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I mean, I started last year for the first time in my life. When I moved here, he has this little garden. I was definitely, I would say, I'm more interested in his garden than although he used to grow some stuff. But I feel I can spend, like, really, sometimes I spend this time, I spend maybe a whole day, from more than 12 hours a day, just planting, or
Mhm.
things and stuff. And I just loved it. I felt like nothing else is on
Mhm.
my phone.
Yeah.
It's not around me. I don't like it's not around me. So you know, unless I don't know, I would have to check it at night.
Have you seen the indoor tower gardens that people do? Indoor with lights?
Yeah, we have some vertical. I'm growing some vertical,
Yeah.
but on the fence outside. Um,
Indoor. Because that would be an interesting way of trying to sustain
you need light.
food supply throughout the year.
Yeah, but you need light, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, here we have light, right? But yeah, like it has to be designed properly if we want to have food all year long. You have
Yeah.
to study it and you have to like research it, or maybe move somewhere where you know bigger home where you can have like you can grow, you can design it in a way where you get a lot of light all year long, right? I mean, we see people doing that and grow things this way, like almost like a greenhouse, I guess, right? And the energy as well, you know, like becoming self-sustained in terms of energy, so you don't have to pay big bills and the water. I mean, it's so nice to live in abundance, in my opinion, in every way. And this way, you know, we don't need so much money. We don't need to, you know. Um, but yeah, like running water, you know, like I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, there's water everywhere in the world. So why are we, you know, why are we not having abundance at home? You know, like it's nice to uh, definitely study the whole thing.
Yeah. Study and try. Practice.
Keep going, yeah.
The smallest thing gives you the biggest amount of information I've found.
You know.
It's so fascinating. The plants are teaching me.
Wait till you plant the mustard seed. How small that seed is. You can barely see the seed. There's
Oh, yeah. Isn't the cilantro like that? I had an issue with that.
cilantro's a big seed.
Is cilantro's big or is it lavender? Maybe I tried.
Celery small.
Celery, I have a hard time with, and pepper. I think they're picky. These guys, they don't grow easily with me. For me, I've tried celery and peppers. Peppers, I think they need heat. They need the soil to.
They do really well here.
Yeah, they need the heat.
I like the heat.
But like if you want to grow them indoors, you'll have to use a heat pad, and I did use my heat pad, but that didn't work. It's like 2 hours, and then I go, you know. I think they need like 24/7 for something. So yeah, so the peppers are very difficult for me. And then the other thing is the celery and parsley. I couldn't. Eggplants, I couldn't. Eggplants are hard too. Yeah, but everything else was okay. Yeah, tomatoes were easy. Thank God. First time ever in my life growing tomatoes from seeds. Nice. I had lots of them. Yeah, they're easy.
That's really good. And there's lots of good videos out there for growing.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to see also, like I watch one guy, he grows in New Jersey. And then I watch other people that are growing in Florida. So I look at it to compare and see what they're doing differently or the same.
Different environment.
Yeah. Right. And then it's interesting to see what similarities, you know, what practices do they both keep up even?
There's so much to learn. So much to learn. And it's right in front of us. It's really easy with the internet today.
2 generations away from that. That's it. Prior to World War II, every household had a victory garden.
Wow. It's hard to believe that.
So we're only 2 generations away.
Where we are, yeah.
Wow.
And fatter than ever. I saw he could have been a 3-year-old. He looked like he was 75 pounds.
Jeez. That's freaking child abuse.
It was heartbreaking. But I just harvested 4 banana peppers. It was really cool because the little, I bought them as plants. The little label said sweet banana pepper, and they were yellow, right, in the picture. And so I was waiting, they went, they turned like a lime green yellow. And I was thinking, is this really the yellow? So I experimented and I took one, but it wasn't great. So I left it on. Well, it turns out they ripened at orange. So it was a naturally orange fruit that is sold as a yellow fruit. Okay, here, this is what have it now.
Yeah, the peppers, the banana ones they sell in the store, they always pick them green, There's
All peppers go red in the end.
Well,
If you can get them there, yeah.
When I
Unless
first,
they're orange or something like that.
yeah, orange, red,
When I
yellow.
first-
There's some that do go yellow, but there's no green ripe peppers.
Yeah, just in the short.
yeah, when I first met Gino, he was the only human being who told me that green peppers are not
yeah.
poison. Poison. So I was like, I've never heard that before.
It takes so long for them to turn color that, just pick them green and you could sell more.
Then you get, there's a little bug that comes at the latter part of the season that freaking bores into the damn things.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
They
had,
don't get them, but they don't get them at green. But as soon as they start turning, you got to get rid of that bug or you lose your whole freaking crop.
all right, so I don't know. Well, here, tell me what you think. I had 3 beautiful green looking peppers waiting to turn red. And then this happened to each of them this week. They were almost red. I was leaving them on the vine and then on the plant, and then they just went to mush. It was like a date. What is that? It just,
That bug.
that you think it's the bug?
Absolutely.
Oh, man. I didn't see it.
Again, it's to go inside. They're inside the
Wow. So the only thing I thought was I should have put it.
just like you say, environment dictates outcome. Well, the pepper gets to the correct environment and the bug
Right.
shows up and the bug is there. Just like they show up when you first plant. It's like, where do these come from? Well, I just created the environment for them. Where are they? Well, they're here.
It was hard to watch something I'd looked at for so long just turn to nothing. Woo!
Well,
Peace. Find some peace with that.
you have to learn how to mitigate these things. I always would get that in the zucchini plants. You always get not so much now because there's not many moths, but you would get this one moth that would lay their eggs, and they would bore it. They're called vine borers, right at the base of the zucchini plant where it meets the soil. And they're big, they're big maggots when they're full grown. Huge. They're probably like that big around. They're big. I just started planting in July, and I never had the problem again because they're gone by then at home here. So I don't have to worry about spraying them. Just plant later.
I remember those from my childhood because my dad actually had a garden, and he used to say the squash vine borer back again. Well, I brought my peppers to the community garden, and the manager is using them for seeds. So
Oh,
there you go. He'll come back again.
learning curve.
Yeah. It's funny. Well, I planted out all these ice cream bean seeds and jackfruit seeds that I got. And there's something really so joyous about it. I don't have room for all these trees in my own yard, but there's something really nice about, I consumed it and now I'm planting it back so that it can return. And it feels so natural. It feels so natural.
Infinite.
What waste do I have here but the skin, the shell? And then I go return. I go do my work to return the favor.
Yeah.
It's so nice and
The
rewarding.
only place I can shut the world off, I'm telling you. When I stepped into that garden this morning, everything shut off.
My dad had his own business and he worked like a dog and he'd come home and he'd be in the garden for hours.
It's the energy,
Yeah.
feels.
The downside was that he taught us nothing about the garden.
Yeah, too bad.
Did you want to know anything about it or not at the time?
What's that?
I would say that I could identify that I wanted to spend more time with him. But my parents were of the mindset that you learned what you needed to from the school, and that was your job, and everything else was, like, you know, they didn't have to do, just go to school. So
The new way.
the new way, exactly. So the old way would have been nice, and he ran his own business, so I never learned about how to run a business, and I never learned about how to garden.
But you watched them. So you learned from
Far.
Yeah, I mean, you watched her.
But I was sent, you know, I mean, I take responsibility, but I was guided toward a path, as were my siblings, where we were further disconnected from that knowledge. And it shows up in what we are today as a family, which isn't much.
It's funny you say, like, we had the old man, he grew up in the countryside, and he moved when we grew up in a city, but then he got a family garden, you know, a block of land by the council, and he then planted, you know, and we were forced to be there, you know what I mean? Like, we had to go there and help this and help that, and we hated it, you know, because as a young, I mean, the thing is, it's not made palatable to you, then you just don't want to do it. And that's exactly what happens in our society. And as you can see with your own parents, they educated you. They want to see educate. But he could have taught and learned you, showed you how to plant things. So you would have actually learned something there. Not educated, but learned something. And that's the same, the old man, because he was in his own element doing it by himself. And he only wanted us to help him here, help him there, you know. But he didn't sit down and actually explain what he was doing and why he was doing it. So that's the learn process didn't get passed on. And that's really, he wanted it, and same with my old man, educate yourself. But instead of taking responsibility as a parent and say, I got to learn my children how to do this. I got to show them and learn that, so they learn something. Remember the difference between education and learning. Huge. But that means that you have to have your own, like you got your own incentive, and then you learn, and what you learn, you don't ever forget. What you've been educated, how much, think about it, of all the education that we've gone through, how much did stick in there? I mean, some have very good academic brain and memorize can quite well. Mate, it's all gone. It's all gone. But what I've learned, when I've done something once, then I know what to do.
Yep.
And I won't forget it. You know, it always comes back. Sometimes takes a bit of a while, but you always get it back. That's a huge difference. But we don't do that in our society. We don't.
Yeah. I'm trying to do that as a parent right now.
Well, I can tell you now, I dismally failed too with my own children. But I only realised that now. You know what I mean? That realisation only came to me a few years ago. When I took them to foraging, you know, and 10 minutes into the course, they went back to the car and fell asleep. All three of them, you know. So that's how much. And then what can you do? I mean, I can't, you know, as I said, I didn't go and you know, tell them you have to do this now. No, at the end, but it'll come back, you know, it'll come back to them. I mean, one day. And because at the end, look, as I said, you can only do it for yourself and only by doing, but I find, and I always appreciated that when the old man took us into the forest and showed us certain things. He actually showed us how to make a flute, all right? Out of a particular timber, I can't even remember, he showed us how he learned how to cut a branch and then take the actual bark off the timber, off the actual timber side. He showed us that. by massaging us, by spitting at it, by this, he learned that of his old man. And then he cut the top of the timber off and slide it back, and then made a flute. So we had a little flute, and I couldn't do it now anymore. But that's what I'm saying. It's because we were interested in playing the flute, but not making it. You know what I mean? We weren't interested in know how to. We just wanted to use it. You know what I mean? But that something like that was so profound that that he could show and know that how to do that with a little branch out of the woods. You know. But there are things that you, as I said, that's the difference then between, as I said, educating and learning. And the shame that the time spent was always enjoyable. Even because we had a long story, but anyway, we had a little family house or a weekend house that we could, which was my mother's father's birthplace that we had access to. And he always dragged us there, but we didn't want to go there, you know. But then he had a garden there and he walked with us there. And one day, I tell you, it was in spring, just when the strawberries, have you ever had wild strawberries in the forest? Where there was a part that was, they logged the tree, and they were, when you looked up, it was completely red of wild strawberries. Never seen something like that. That's so vivid in my mind. And the taste of it, of these little strawberries, it was just out of this world. You know what I mean? That was something that really sticks to you. And that's where you can see, we always wanted to go there because we thought they'd be there the whole year. So every time we go, can we go and get some strawberries? Can we go and get some strawberries? No, they're only there for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they were all gone, you know what I mean? But that was something that was very profound and sits in your mind, and and then you can recollect that when you're older, that really was something, you know, that everybody should be able to experience, you know. Simple as that. Yeah, that was something that I can remember back very well.
Yeah, let's jump into meditation a bit early today.
Yep.
If anybody wants to join. So awesome. Lots of good stuff's happening. So let's get comfortable. Close our eyes. I think we'll do the micro orbit, as it's called. So I like that. Very powerful. We're focusing on the breath as we get comfortable. Ease of breathing. Picture the breath going up the spine from the tailbone up to the top of the head as in the inhale, and on the exhale going down the front of the body back down to the tailbone, and keep cycling the breath that way, in up the spine, out down the front of the body. Now let's bring our attention to the area below the belly button and keep our sharp focus there. And imagine a mini tornado vortex spinning counterclockwise. So if we're looking at our body at a distance in the front, we will see the vortex spinning counterclockwise. So if we're looking at it from the back, it'll look like clockwise. And imagine that tornado spinning. And as it spins, it creates more and more energy. And continue focusing on that area. If the mind floats away, we just bring it back. Position the tongue on the roof of the mouth or roll it back and suck on the tongue. Rolling it back, that triggers the body to produce hydration. And we keep focusing on the mini tornado, the vortex, as it goes faster and faster. Now we move down to the genital area. And the mini tornado continuously spinning in a counterclockwise rotation in that area. The point of the tornado is focused on the body. And as we focus on the tornado, the implosion effect of the vortex brings balance to all the chakras that we focus on. We continue with minimal nasal breathing. Driving the breaths deep into the groin area while the vortex is still spinning, going faster and faster. Now let's bring the focus to the tailbone. Mini tornado spinning faster and faster on the tip of the tailbone. Continue with the tongue in position you chose. Continue focusing on the breath and the mini vortex on the tailbone. Whatever thoughts come into the mind, just let them flow. Don't hold on to them. They're not yours. The vortex is spinning faster and faster on the tip of the tailbone, bringing balance to that area. As the tornado is spinning, try and see what colors you can see coming off of the tornado as it's spinning faster and faster in a counterclockwise rotation. Now we will move the focus up to the kidney area, right between the kidneys. The tip of the tornado is at the spine, right between the two kidneys, the king and the queen. These little guys are precious little organs and do so much work for us, the energetic side. We continue focusing on the mini tornado, spinning faster and faster, beaming out all beautiful colors, bringing balance back to the king and the queen, the kidneys. Continue with the tongue in the position you chose. Continue focusing on the breath, minimal volume, nasal breathing. The breathing is so minimal, you'll hardly feel it. It's like you're not breathing at all. Energetically, you're driving it down deep into the groin, while the tornado is spinning faster and faster between the kidneys. You can sense the kidneys with their free will are getting relief as the tornado is spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. All the tension is disappearing from that area. As the vortex brings balance. By now you should feel moisture coming into the mouth as the body creates the hydration it needs. Because as we know, only the body can feed, hydrate itself, purge, build, balance. Everything outside of that is just a program. We don't need any part of it. Vortex is spinning faster and faster in the kidney area. Feel the relief as the balance is restored. And move the focus now up to between the shoulder blades. Tip of the vortex, the mini tornado, is between the shoulder blades. A lot of us hold a lot of tension in that area. So we continue to focus on the mini tornado spinning faster and faster with beautiful brilliant lights beaming off all directions, bringing balance to that area. You can feel the tension melting away. And the spine is starting to elongate itself through the hydration that your body's producing and field strength that's building energetically. We feel ourselves getting taller and taller as the vortex spins faster and faster. The body's creating all the hydration it needs. Keep the tongue in the position you chose. Keep focusing on the breath and the mini tornado spinning faster and faster between the shoulder blades. All tension's gone from that area. Melted away. As we move the focus further up to the bottom of the skull, where the spine meets the skull. The tip of the tornado is in that point. And we hear it, see it, feel it spinning faster and faster. Feel all the tension melting away from the bottom to the top of the spine while it elongates itself and hydrates itself, energizes itself, feeds itself. as the tornado spinning faster and faster. Bottom of the skull. The whole spine's being nourished, and the whole body's being nourished. The brain's being nourished as the tornado spins faster and faster. Beaming out beautiful, brilliant colors. Counterclockwise direction. Balance is restored. The whole spine as we move the focus to the top of the head, right in the top center of the skull, this 1,000-point junction, tip of the tornado. We can feel it on the top of our skull as it's spinning faster and faster. Brilliant colors coming off of it as it brings and removes all tension and brings balance to that area. Feeds and nourishes the whole body, physical, mental, and emotional. Any drifting away from with the mind, just bring it back. Any thoughts that come, just let them go. That's like a river's flowing, going right by. Nothing to do with you. And tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to the top of the head. Tongue's still in the same position you chose. Feel the hydration coming in. Balance is restored. And we move the direction, the focus of the tornado to the front of the forehead, third eye. Feel here the tornado spinning faster and faster. See it spewing out colors in all directions, brilliant, beautiful colors. As you focus the tornado on the third eye, start seeing light shining brighter and brighter. The tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area. Spiritual eye. Tongue is still in the same position you chose. Thoughts come and go. Nothing to do with you. The tornado is spinning faster and faster, and counterclockwise rotation, bringing balance back to that area, the third eye. Physical, mental, emotional bodies are restoring balance as the tornado is spinning faster and faster. Balance is restored as we move the focus down to the throat chakra. Tip of tornadoes on the throat, spinning faster and faster. In brilliant colors. Restoring balance in that area of the throat. Feel all the tension melting away as the tornado is spinning faster and faster. Beautiful, brilliant colors. Tongue is still in the position that you chose. Feel the hydration coming into the body. Bringing back all correct positioning of the physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Elongating the physical body. Feel the spine elongating. As we move the focus of the tornado down to the heart chakra. Point of the tornado. Spinning faster and faster in the heart area. The heart has the strongest field strength of the physical body. Gravitational magnetic field of the heart is much stronger than any other part of the physical body. As the tornado is spinning faster and faster, we feel the tension in the heart melt away and send out plaf to the whole planet. To all beings of this planet. To our family, our friends, co-workers, loved ones, all the leaders of the world. We send them plaf through our heart. And we elevate their souls at the highest field strength so they may live in peace, balance, correct conduct, or choose to perish. There's no more options left. For we as humanity have set our intent in motion. Tornado spinning faster and faster, bringing balance to that area of the heart and the rest of the whole planet. And all souls that have chosen to come to this planet can feel that field strength being driven down right from their soul. We can see all the people that are holding weapons are feeling very uncomfortable holding these weapons. As they're holding them, they're getting heavier and heavier, and more of a burden on their consciousness. They're being driven to let the thing go and destroy it. We feel our heart field strength getting stronger and stronger as we feed and nourish all souls to peace, balance, correct conduct. The more we focus on the tornado spinning faster and faster, the more all the souls will drive peace, balance, correct conduct into the physicality of all the leaders of the world. All the imbalances will be revealed more and more if they don't move in the direction that the soul is conducting. The tornado is spinning faster and faster as we feel balance achieved throughout all this planet, throughout all the stars, galaxies, and universes. As we move the focus down to the solar plexus, the gut feeling, our intuition, the tornado spinning faster and faster as we bring balance to that area, keeping the tongue in the position we chose, feeling the hydration moving in throughout the body, feeling the whole body in a wonderful relaxed state, expanding as the field strength gets stronger and stronger. You see the brilliant, beautiful colors. Continue to focus on the tornado spinning faster and faster. And we feel balance restored in the solar plexus. And we change the focus to the breath again. And the in-breath from the tip of the tailbone. We drive it up the spine to the top of the head. And the exhale, we bring it down the front of the body, back down, around the groin, back to the tailbone. And continue focusing on the breath. In, we go up. Out, we go down. In, we go up. Out, we go down. Focus on that a few cycles on your own as we feel the body, physical, mental, and emotional. Balance is restored. No more tension. Feels amazing. Feel rejuvenated. The emotions feel balanced, nourished. As we can feel peace, balance, and correct conduct is restored on the planet. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And we're back. Tommy joined us. It's so nice. It gives you a recharge. Oh, we went quite a bit.
That's nice.
That just flew by.
Always does.
Yeah, sure was good.
All right. Call it a few minutes early tonight. Thank you guys. It's always
Thank you.
always a pleasure to have you guys around. It's what it's all about. Continuing on our paths, supporting each other. All wonderful. All righty.
Good night.
All right, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
You too.
We'll see you again, huh?
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.